understanding that holds are difficult for most people, I think that too often we let it grow into a monster that is bigger than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And part of your job as the instrument instructor is to take something complex and break it down and make it simple. The reason that holding is a struggle for most new instrument pilots is because there's nothing like it in the VFR world. Most instructors teach it the first time under the hood or in the simulator, and for most people there's a big disconnect between what is being interpreted on the instrument panel and what the airplane is really doing in space. and most pilots go through most of their instrument training struggling to connect reality with what they see on the panel. You know what I mean? The way to know whether you do it on paper or whether you do the technique on the heading indicator, HSI, whatever, there are 3 questions that you need to teach your students to ask. I want you guys to write these down. This is from the School of Hard Knocks. I came up with this the hard way of watching people screw up check rides and written tests and all kinds of things. And I basically, this will be chapter 4 of my book if I ever write it. If you can accurately answer yes to all 3 of these questions, then you know with 100% assurity that you drew the hold correctly. That's how good this is. And it's so simple that after you teach it to your students, many of them are going to get lazy and stop asking the 3 questions. Your job is to discipline them to always ask the 3 questions. They can get to where they're very fast at it, but they need to ask the 3 questions. So after drawing the hold, and the order is important too, so let me make sure I get it right. It's been a little while since I taught this. Number 1, am I holding on the correct side of the fix? I'm going to give you the 3 questions and then we'll talk about them real quick. Number 1, am I holding on the correct side of the fix? Number 2, is my inbound leg toward the fix? Meaning as I fly, is my inbound leg toward the fix? Good job delegating, Captain George. I love it. It's just, hey boy, write this down.
Yeah, he's got it.
Make it so I can read it. You're a good man, Britt. Good first officer. Question 3, am I turning the correct direction? And this is where the English language really lets you down as a flight instructor. Do not ask, am I turning the right direction? For obvious reasons, you need to say, am I turning the correct direction? Every hold clearance, as you know, includes a direction. You can hold south on the 180 radial. You cannot hold north on the 180 radial. That is called an air traffic control error. So as an instructor, it's your job to not act like a terrible air traffic controller. You should never tell someone to hold north, east, or west on the 180 radial. That does not make any sense. In fact, let's take a quick tangent here because this is important. Back to the dry erase board. Is it going to remember? Yes. As a student, I remember being confused, thinking that this could be hold east on the 180 radial. Because as a student, I was focused on the position of the racetrack. That is a common assumption that you as the instructor need to help people understand. The direction of the hold, this is worth writing down. This is a foundational concept that needs to be clearly understood. You cannot assume that people understand this before you get into the 3 questions. The direction of the hold equals position of the inbound leg. That's what I want you to write down. Direction of hold equals position. Or another good word is location. That might even be better. Location of inbound leg. Meaning if grandma's barn is right here on the inbound leg. It doesn't matter which way the wind's blowing. It doesn't matter what kind of airplane I'm in. I always fly the inbound leg over grandma's red barn. It's a physical location over planet Earth. Okay. Really emphasize that. Make that real to the person, that the inbound leg. So the way I said it earlier, hold south on the 180 radial. All right. I know you guys know this, but I'm emphasizing this so strongly because this is how you have to do it with your students. You've got to just like get this through their fog in their brain and help them understand. So as you guys know, what is the difference between the racetrack being over here to the east or the racetrack being over here to the west? Well, how would the clearance change? Anybody?
How would it change? Well, they're going to tell you, oh, okay, hold left.
That's it. It's still holding south on the 180 degree radial. Left turns would come over here to the, do you see the cursor moving?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a matter of the holding direction. It's a matter of the turn direction. That was like a light bulb moment for me as a student. I still remember 20 some years ago. I was like, oh, that's what they mean. All right. So once you make sure your folks understand that, I guess I'll just leave this up. The 3 questions. Am I holding on the correct side? Well, he said hold south. Physical location? Answer, yes. Is my inbound leg toward the fix? Yep, I'm flying. Oh, that's the other thing I'll do is after I draw it, I'll make a little, something like this to show the way that we're going, okay? Is my inbound leg toward the fix? Yes, that was question number 2. And I'm turning the correct direction. Air traffic control didn't say anything, so I'm doing right turns. The answer is yes. If you answer yes to all 3 of those questions, you know with 100% assurity that you drew the hold correctly. I can't tell you guys how valuable it is to have, the value of the procedures. One obvious way that procedures are valuable is they help us get stuff done. The whole thing of the workload, we taxi and take off, the workload goes up, it comes back down during cruise, and then it goes up during approach, and it comes down. You guys remember that curve of pilot workload versus pilot capacity, which is going down because you're getting tired by the end of the flight. And the whole idea of IFR single pilot is flatten the curve, right? There's one you haven't heard in the last few months. And get it so that, we move the high workload to the low workload and we flatten it out so that we always have this nice margin of safety. Procedures, that's the obvious value of procedures. Something else that is worth pointing out, I've never even heard Jason talk about this, but this is good stuff. The other value, high value of procedures is the peace of mind that it gives the pilot. It's like just knowing, well, the opposite is, you guys ever had that feeling like you're on a check ride or you're getting ready to land and you've just got this nagging question in the back of your head, like, did I get everything done?
Yeah.
It's very distracting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's normal for a new pilot, a low time pilot, to kind of have that question. It's a good question, right? It's a double check. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's an uncomfortable feeling to wonder if you're on track. I wonder if I got everything done. I wonder if I did it right. I wonder this, I wonder that. Good procedures like these 3 questions give the pilot peace of mind to basically tie it up, put a little red bow on it, and set it down and move on to the next thing. And I for single pilot IFR, that is so important. I cannot even tell you how important that is. It's like it just relieves mental anguish and gives the pilot the ability to focus on what they really need to focus on. Again, right thing, right time, right amount of time. All right. So there's another little nugget for you. So there's actually, I think that's most, I'm not going through all the details with the thumb technique and everything, because that's covered by Jason and other people. Those UND videos are pretty good too.